Do you want to know how to make the best latkes for Hanukkah? Hey guys, Ariel here. If you couldn't guess from my shirt, it is Hanukkah. I figured I'd show you guys how I make latkes so that you can enjoy a delicious treat. Maybe you're not able to go visit family and friends. It's incredibly easy to do. And if you're not Jewish, latke is a traditional thing that we serve on Hanukkah. It's basically a fried potato and it's kind of like a pancake. It's delicious. Even if you're not Jewish, trust me, you'll like it. So let's get this going because I want to eat some latkes. So what you'll need to get started is a food processor, which is much easier than a hand shredder. You're gonna need 6 potatoes, washed, peeled, and chopped so that they'll fit into the food processor. 1 small onion, which you can grate up in the food processor as well. 3 eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of oil, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and some oil for frying. Now, if you're going gluten-free, you can use potato starch instead of the flour. So once you have your potatoes chopped up, well, washed, peeled, and chopped up, so that they'll fit into the food processor. You want to get this guy going, and we're going to go ahead and shred these up. I should stop to say, quick safety tip, don't stick your fingers down there. Use, whatever they call it, the cork flicker. So we got that all done. What we're going to want to do is now transfer this over into a strainer, get some of that starch out by washing it out, squeezing it out, then we'll throw it back into the bowl. So I rinsed out the potatoes. I really squeeze them out to make sure I get all that starch out there. And I'm just letting it drip dry a little bit more, and then I'll squeeze them out again because you want to get as much moisture out of there as possible. And while that's going on, I am going to grate and shred up these onions here. And remember, again, don't stick your fingers in that thing, okay? I'm gonna start getting the other ingredients together while I'm waiting for the potatoes to drain a little bit more. Get some of those onions in there. And it already smells like Hanukkah to me. Any Jewish kid growing up, the smell of onions was always prominent in your house. And frying food, apparently. Now, if you're like me, the onions will make you cry. Does it to me every time, even since I was a little kid. I remember being a little kid helping out in the kitchen, and I had to wear, well, I didn't have to wear, I chose to wear goggles on my eyes because every time I cut onions, I bawl and cry. These are tears of joy though, because I'm making latkes, so don't worry. So I put some oil into the pan as I'm heating it up while I mix the other ingredients. I also like to put in a bit of olive oil, just find that helps. I don't know, I picked it up somewhere. Once all that's good to go, you see that the potatoes are nice and squeezed out. I got the starch out there. I'm gonna add them to the mix. And you can see some of the starch is left on the bottom there. You don't want that in your latkes. Now once it's all together, you just wanna mix it up, make sure everything's coated in here. As you can see, there's a little bit of smoke coming up off of the pan, that's fine. But I would say as a preemptive measure, you want to open up the door if you live in a condo especially, because you're gonna set off the fire alarm pretty quick. And that's, as a kid, how I always knew that the latkes were being made. So you're gonna take a spoon and you wanna dollop them out, 1 spoon size. Just go around the pan. Try and make sure that there's a little bit of separation. You can add a carrot to the pan and it kind of acts like a magnet, pulling out the burnt taste. When the latkes are cooked and crispy on one side, go ahead and give them a flip. You want to check to make sure they're good on both sides. Personally, I like mine nice and crispy, but you're cooking for yourself, so you cook them however you like them. And when they're good and ready, nice and done on both sides, take them off, transfer them over to a plate with some paper towel, let the oil drain off. I can't help myself. I've already been digging in. What, I'm gonna just sit here and let a bunch of latkes cook and not eat? Come on. Wait for them to cool down a little bit though. What's the last step? Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope that you found it pretty easy to make the latkes. You can see that they turned out really nicely and I'm really excited to get into them. They keep really well and you can eat them pretty much with anything. In the morning, they go really nice with some eggs or maybe a poached egg on top. Now we're really talking. You know, they're really hard to mess up. So give it a try. Listen, if I can make it, you can make it. I'm definitely not a chef, so I have faith in you. I'd love to give a shout out to, obviously, the person who taught me this recipe, my mother, but her friend Noreen Gillitz, who actually came up with the recipe, and she is a fantastic chef. Unfortunately, we lost her last year. Very sad. Her spirit lives on in the recipes that she made and the inspiration that she was. You can find any great Jewish holiday recipe. It's here in her book, Second Helpings Please. Her son, Stephen Gillitz, carries on her spirit. He's also a chef, and you can find them at Noreen's Kitchen. I'll put a link down in the comments. It's Noreen's Kitchen is a Facebook group. They have fantastic recipes there. There's a whole community of people. You should go check that out as well. Hag Sameach, happy Hanukkah. Now go make some latkes and enjoy yourself. You still here? Go make your own latkes. These are mine. All right, fine, I'll share with you.